Welcome back, everyone. In the previous video we built the rig from scratch, but I was missing a couple things like the V battery mount and then the shoulder rig handles, and here I got everything. So I'm going to rebuild the rig from scratch, and then I'm going to do a couple tests in my next video on what is more stable, the shoulder rig, or if you guys look right here, I have the Zion Crane 3 Lab, which I'm going to do a test on as well. Let's jump into building the rig. To start off, small rig cage, and we're going to mount it on the Blackmagic. So I have a little small rig tool right here that has all of the necessary screwdrivers and all that stuff to mount everything. Alright, so it's easy to mount the rig cage. Just slide in the Blackmagic and then align the screws. So the top part is very easy. I'm not going to screw it all the way because I want to line up the back part. Alright, so that's easy. The rig is done. Well, at least the main part of the rig is done. So what I like to do next is mount the 15mm rods with the mount. So first I'm gonna align them both. And then it's very simple as well. So you got the two screws. So what works for me is doing the furthest most screw to the lens first and then doing the top one, because if you don't align the bottom one first, it gets stuck behind the rail. For the most part, you got the whole base of the rig. So now, next comes the battery. So this is a powered V-shape holder battery. The reason why I need a powered one is for a USB port. That's because I'm powering the nucleus, nanonucleus wheel for autofocus. And yes, the battery got the USB, but I use that for something else, which I'll show you guys later. Very easy to mount. You got your 15mm rod mount, and then what you do is just slide it on. And then tighten it up. And now you got the battery mounted up. And there's enough room between the screen and the battery to control the screen settings. Alright, next we're going to do the tilted nucleus, so the wheel, and that I like to put on the left side of the rail. It's very easy, just slides on, and make sure you lean it good against the focus ring on the lens really good. That way when you move the wheel, it actually moves it as well. So that's done, very easy. Next, I like to do the handles for the shoulder, and it comes in a 3-part type of setup. Very easy to do. One is done. And then the second is done, and now you just line them up. So I like to have them actually stick out like this. So I'm going to move this one to the same position. And there you have it. Now what you do is you mount them on the rails and tighten them up. And now you got your rig for the most part. So now when you're shooting and you want more stabilized footage, you got the handles. And like I was saying, you want them to point 90 degrees so it's easier to hold, because if they're pointed on the bottom, it's harder. All right, so, and make sure they're tight. This is what holds your rig in place. And also, those handles are used to place the camera on the ground during breaks of the shoot. That way, your camera is not touching the ground itself. Now that that's done, let's move on. So next, we're gonna attach the handle. You don't really need the handle. I mean, if you're on a really tight budget, the handle is not necessary, but I'll show you why I like having the handle. Why I love the handle? Well, let's say 2 reasons. Break time. You placed the camera down, had some lunch. To pick it up, well, if you don't have the handle, you gotta grab it kind of by the body. You have a handle, grab it like this. Also, let's say you're doing a low angle shots. Now this is why I have the battery sticking out as well, is because you could stabilize on your knee and the handle and get low angle shots. But mostly I use it just to hold the camera or just rest it on my shoulder when we're just taking a break. So not really necessary, but I mean, helps a lot. One more thing, I have a wooden handle. This is also optional. Mounts right here on the right side. If you want to, it's good to have when you're not really using the shoulder rig. You can also get another wood handle for the left part of the rig so you could hold it. I mean, I don't really need it, I just have it. Next, the arm for your Shinobi monitor, which I have, or any other monitor. What I like to do is mount it on the bottom where the shoulder handle is. I'll show you guys in a second. Then when it's tight, I'm gonna mount the monitor. And then what I'm going to do is adjust it when I have it on my shoulder. The monitor is right in front of me, so it makes it easy to see what I am recording. And I like to keep the monitor mount a little bit above the handle on the first insert, so I have enough room to hold it with my hand. One more optional part. This is the cushion for your shoulder. I don't use it, I have it though. This mounts right here in the middle of the rails, so when you are holding the rig, it's kind of easier on your shoulder. So I'll have this in the description as well. Alright, so now we plug in everything with the cables. Next, it's the wiring time. First, I grab my Samsung wire. So I'm using a Samsung SSD T5, 1 terabyte, with my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K. This one hard drive is enough for probably 5-6 shoots, depending on the bitrate you're using. And it's easy. I have the small rig Samsung T5 mount already on my rig. I completely forgot about it. It was already on it. And it's very easy to use. Okay, so you just slide it in, tighten it up, plug in the cable. There's a port for the cable right there. I have that done. Now I grab my HDMI cable, and I have a nice cable that extends as well, and I plug it in into my Shinobi monitor, and this cable is done. Next, we grab this cable. This cable goes inside your battery pack and into the camera. So 3 cables so far. 1, 2, 3. One more cable is USB to micro, and that's for your Tilta nucleus. First, I grab the cable that powers the camera from the battery and plug it in. Next, I get the clamp and I attach it slightly to my rig. Then I grab the HDMI cable, wire it through, get the USB-C cable, and plug it in as well. And once both cables are there, tighten the screws up. And this step is the most important step in my opinion, because this is what keeps your wires in place and not falling out in the middle of the shoot. So now that that's done, I'm going to plug in the last cable, which is the Tilta nucleus, and this goes into the USB slot. And then just turn on the V battery on. That's done. This is done. Power on the battery and turn on the camera, and we have video. One more thing that I have that I'm not gonna attach but I have it. It's the Tiffin 72mm ND filter. This is a variable one, goes from 2 to 8, and if you need to, you could attach that. Alright guys, so that was the video on how to build the rig and what's on the rig. All of these parts, every single one I talked about, will be in the description. I will provide links. Now those links are affiliate links with Amazon, so they highly help my channel. So if you guys are going to be building this rig and using these parts, click the links that I have provided down below, because they will help me support the channel going forward. Thank you guys for watching. Hope this video helped you. I did a lot of research, so you guys don't have to. Subscribe and comment below if you guys enjoyed this video of the rig and if you're getting it yourself as well. As always, I'll be back.